All right. This is the closing of this project this time. This was episode 30. It's been a joy to be on this project. We went into so many different directions. I kind of love the new skin that we're in here, trying on something new with 9 tracks, and also trying on something new by having a few extra guests pop in and some contributions from some other folks. There was a lot of different directions that we went, and it definitely felt snaky to me. So I'm pleased to have been your host. Sean, final wrap up thoughts on this episode?
I think it was a snaky episode. It was fun in a lot of ways. The guests were a real surprise. I still am kind of floored that we had Addie join the podcast. I was prepared to speculate like crazy on the album art and the instrumentation and the paradox and the lyrics and all that stuff. Like I wasn't kidding when I said I probably researched that song and that artist, more than I did for any other song on, if you add them all up together. So I was really, what is more than pleasantly surprised? I was blown away by the fact that you said this morning that she would join. It was incredible.
This morning.
Yeah, I would really, I feel super motivated to learn more, see one of these witchcraft shows and just pay more attention. So that's wonderful to get introduced, and yeah, love how connected to it, the local music scene you are. I think the couple just reflections real quick. One is I like the wide open theme. There were a lot of ways that across the 9 songs, the theme was interpreted differently. I like that. It's fun to twist it and make it work for you. And so I thought that was fun. It was hard in some ways because it seemed like everything was potentially in play. Like every song ever written was in play in some ways. And I kind of filtered my music down in different ways to try to find things that were interesting to listen to and to talk about. So that wide open theme, I think, is challenging, but a lot of fun. And then, I said it recently, and it's proven out again that the fewer number of songs, I think, is a joy. I think it allowed for a deeper look into some of them. And so said differently, if there were 15 songs on the playlist, my guess is that I would not have had time to go deep into the Venom song and looking at the cover art and thinking about the instrumental nature or the instrumentalization. What am I saying? But to think about those things. And I appreciate that I had the time to do that. So I think there's some magic in the shorter version, and I'm making it longer by tripping all over my words at this point and not really making my point. So I like the shorter format, and I like the deep work. I think that's really where the magic is, especially in a world where it's always like this interruption, this next message, this email, this next meeting, go from here to there, pick up the kids, pick up the groceries, make dinner, do the dishes, blah, blah, blah. It's like always on. I appreciate that we're sitting down to do some deep work and we're thinking about what these songs mean, what they mean to us, what stories they tell. And so that's probably my favorite part. And then to have Skip join and tell his part and to show some of what he values and how he thinks about the world, it was just a real joy.
Awesome. Way to bring it home there.
Yeah, I'll echo the quality over quantity. Felt really good this time too. We talked about, like, Brett, you told the story about sitting by the river and letting the river listen and like being present in that moment and not rushing to the next thing. And that felt really good with this too. So I totally echo that too. And it feels like a transformation for us as we're kind of always evolving, but trying to find the value in the fewer songs means more attention to each one of them in a good way. And I mean, I learned so much this episode. We come in learning about each other, learning about, or maybe presenting our own songs, but then you get so much in return for ourselves. Hopefully the listeners pick up on it too, whether it's a new artist or a new interpretation, or man, all these different imagery parts of 80's album cover. I mean, goodness, Sean, that was such a fascinating way. And I hope that 80 was pleased to get a chance to have a stage to talk about it. I think that's super fun. Happy to have slithered our way through the theme here, and I thought it was a great suggestion. Before we close, I thought it was interesting because I think we don't have a theme for episode 31 that I know of. And so unless you all have one that you want to suggest now, one of the things that we could do is say, hey, anybody who cares about the show on Instagram, drop us a message if you've got an idea for a theme and we'll take it on. Like, we're kind of open-ended. We're in this transformation where we've got a blank page to slither through, whatever you want to say, for us to do the next project. So we love that it's been interactive and inclusive. Super great to have Skip on and 80 on and have the Keeled Scales, new territory for us. So happy to do that. One thing I'll end in is 80 kind of echoed the challenges of an indie artist doing things DIY. It's hard to go out on the road. It's expensive. They might make less money doing that. I highly encourage everybody who cares about music to pay for merch and the CDs and to go see them live and to buy the albums and do what you can to support the artists, because we consume, but it's becoming increasingly harder for those artists to make a living doing the thing that we love. And so while Spotify is there and a medium that we tend to share music, it's a vocation to also try to go out and be there and be present and give some money back to those artists that do all that great work. So that's my PSA for today.
Yeah, I appreciate you making it, Grant. I think it's important to both enjoy the process of, selecting music and dissecting it a little bit the way that we do and putting our heart behind it. And I do feel desire for these artists to continue to be able to and to be encouraged to make the music and continue to play live shows. And I think that money is one of the most important things that we can do. And in our society right now, that I think the single dollar that a person can give to an artist is really valuable right now and important. So let this be an invitation to find the backstories, find the shows that you care about, go see those artists, follow your intuition into those areas, and especially look the snake in the eye. Let that fear guide you. Just don't have a staring contest with a snake, because they don't blink. And I think that this episode, again, reflecting back to 80 Bell's comment about that kind of echoes what Sean, I think that you really bring this to the fore around don't waste your pain. Our thoughts, our understandings, the regrets that we have, the pain that we may experience, it's part of growth, and let it shape you and be something that brings you closer to each other, ideally, maybe closer to making your own art. That could be a cool way. Maybe you got a podcast in you. Maybe you listener want to be a guest on an episode, and you have an idea similar to the way JB brought a theme and then became a guest on that show. So with that,
all are welcome.
We'll wrap up episode 30 and see you next time.